Welcome once again to Review Your Ride. I'm John Green, and today we've got something I think very special for you. It is a 1986 V12 Jaguar XJS. Well, I guess what sets this car apart from a lot of the other ones we've driven here is it's a V12. And look at that engine. You hear stories of people dropping spanners when they're working on these and losing them forever. And looking at this, I can see why. Not a lot of room under there. It's a big engine. I'm trying to get some video of the inside of it, but it's awfully cramped for a big car. This is from the passenger side. There's not a lot of room in there. Pretty basic sort of a car for what was a luxury car back in its day. I don't know about that gear stick knob. I think if you turned up to a Jag show with that gear stick on the car, you'd get shot. Anyway, each to their own, and a view from the other side. Even though it's considered a four-seater, I don't think you'd get too many people in the back there. Maybe some little kids, but that'd be about it. There's even a little bit of room in the boot. Not bad for what some people once called a 70s supercar. I'll try and get you some video of the inside of it. It is a bit cramped in here. I've had to change to the other camera, because the other one's just too big. Nice instrument panel. Looks like they fitted an extra temperature sensor on it. It's got an old school trip meter and that down there that I was looking at before. Oh, that gear stick's just wrong. Aftermarket radio. Ashtray full of switches that I don't really know what they do. Some wood grain, it's getting on a bit. This car has never been restored, it's what's called a survivor. Okay, we've got it going. I'm not going to switch it off again in case it won't restart. So let's take it for a drive. When just looking out the windscreen, you've just got to love that big long bonnet, haven't you? Cars don't have big long bonnets like that on them anymore. There's probably a reason for that. So a little bit about the car, I guess. Like I said before, it has a 5.3 litre overhead cam V12. It is electronically fuel injected. It's pretty smooth. In fact, it's so smooth, the person that owns the car reckons you can balance a 50-cent piece on the fuel rail. I don't believe him. I think he's pulling me legs. So when we get the car back to his garage, we'll give it a go. So hopefully you'll see some video of a 50-cent piece falling off and I'll be right. And it is incredibly smooth, the engine in this thing. I can't wait to get it up on the highway. Some information about the car. Like I said earlier, it has a 5.3 litre overhead cam V12 in it. It'll do 0 to 100 kilometres an hour in about 8 seconds, which is not earth-shattering by today's standards, but it's pretty good for when it was built. It will do the quarter mile in, I think it's about 16.2 seconds. Again, not earth-shattering by today's standards, but cars of the same era you have to compare it to. Cars of the same era wouldn't have been much quicker, I can tell you, especially for a factory car. This is a factory car. Again, what's it like to drive? It's quite nice. I mean, we're doing 60 kilometres an hour. It's pretty quiet in here. For a 30-year-old car, that's not too bad, but it is a Jaguar. Don't you just love the look, the view of that bonnet? I don't know what the camera's showing of that bonnet, but gee, it looks good. What don't I like about the car? It's awfully cramped in here. It is very hard to see out of other than looking forward. So, you know, things like motorbike riders and even cyclists, you can't see them if they're coming up behind you. Important safety tip for motorbike riders and cyclists: if you're trying to pass an XJS, if you can see the XJS, there's a good chance the person driving it can't see you. So just be careful. Although I don't even think Lance Armstrong would be able to keep up with one of these things. The windscreen wipers, I was driving it in the rain before, the windscreen wipers absolutely useless. And for a British car, you think the one thing that would work would be the windscreen wipers. The air conditioning works very well. It's about 32 degrees today in southeast Queensland. It's humid as hell. And the air conditioning's working quite nice, which is a surprise for a British car.